Hello lovelies. So today's video is the first project I've created with this month's creative team pack that was sent out from Scrapbook Fantasies, and this is called the Boho Beauty collection, and it is lovely. It is full of flowery watercolory goodness, and I just thought it was perfect for this lovely picture of my little lovey in her tree swing. The thing I love about these papers in the Scrapbook Fantasies collections is there's always a few sheets that have some really good cut apart bits and pieces. And then, of course, you've got the cut apart sheets that are in most of the collections as well. And what I did at the beginning of this video is I went through and found some of the elements that I wanted to use as embellishments, and I actually outlined them in just a black pen. So I just felt it gives it more of a little bit of definition, and just I don't know, I just love the texture and the look it gives it. And then I went and I fussy cut them out, but I didn't leave that in because no one wants to see me fussy cut a whole bunch of stuff. It's funny, fussy cutting I have a love and hate relationship with. I either love it or I hate it. It depends on what mood I'm in. Sometimes I can just cut things up and really enjoy it, and I'll just keep cutting all of the bits and pieces out so they're ready to go. Other times I dread it, especially lately with the carpal tunnel I have happening in my hands. But I knew that I really wanted these pieces to embellish this layout. Now, because I love the papers so much, and in my creative team box, I got a lot of the papers. We got about 4 of each one, which is fantastic because I don't have to hoard them and have to struggle to choose which ones I want to use and save. Well, not save, but, you know, use for those special layouts. Don't we say that about all our paper, though? And, you know, don't hoard the paper, people. Use the paper. But anyway, yeah, so there was plenty of paper so I could do some really nice layers. So this floral background I felt just worked really well with this this picture. But then I wanted to bring some contrast in. I love the green, and obviously I've got a lot of green in my photo. And then I wanted a colour on top to pop and contrast. So these papers worked beautifully together, and I just loved the watercolour pattern of them. I did consider matting on the purple, but no, I went with a white layer. This is a picture of Ruby, like I said, in her tree swing. We have this big, giant frangipani tree in the front yard, and we have put a swing in there for Ruby. So there's lots of beautiful leaves and flowers and things falling, especially this time of year. It's summer here at the moment, so this tree is thriving. And this is actually a pretty recent photo. So yes, this is what the tree looks like now. It gives beautiful shade right above her swing, and it just makes for some great photos. So I knew that I thought this would be a great photo for this for this collection. It just gives me, you know, sunny summer blossomy vibes. Speaking of blossom, that's what I'm gonna actually use as a title, which I will show you in a minute. So at the moment I'm just using those fussy cut bits and pieces, the flowers, the leaves and the feathers to embellish. So I'm gonna make a cluster down the bottom here on the bottom right. And I love this feather. I don't know why. I just do. Like, the photo doesn't scream feathers, but I thought it just went with that whole summery, flowy vibe I was getting, and I just loved it. Fussy cutting it was a bit of a nightmare, but it worked perfect for this photo. So I'm just building up this layer, this cluster down here. I'm using a mix of glue and foam dots as well, and that gives it some dimension. I love tucking things under my photos and then sticking things on top, so I've got different types of dimension in my clusters. I also matted my photo, bumped up my photo on a bit of craft foam. That is what I use if I want some dimension on my photos. Just some cheap craft foam that I glue to the back of my photos. Sometimes I use, if I don't want it to be so thick, but I want a little definition, I'll actually use scraps of cardboard. So this is my title. This was a chipboard word that was in my creative team kit as well. And I know the phrase is bloom where you're planted, but I went with the blossom. It just suits the photo more, I think. And I just really wanted to use this blossom. But I've been working on extending my titles lately. Sometimes I just get too lazy and don't want to go through all my alphas and try and find all the letters I need for a really good title. But in this case, I thought it would really suit it quite well, especially because I'm trying to fill in some of that white space, or sorry, the negative space, and just extend my title a bit. So I end up with some puffy alphas. I have a lot of the small ones, and I keep them on my desk in a little zip bag, so I know where they all are, because I can lose just about anything. And I decided to use a colour that is pretty much the same as that peachy colour on the cardstock there, on the pattern paper, I should say. At first I thought it would blend too much, but it actually blends just perfectly enough that it doesn't overpower my photo or my layers. It just sort of blends in beautifully. And I do love how it worked. And, I almost had enough letters for my title. I didn't have two E's, so I had to shorten a your to a UR. So instead of YOUR, it's just UR. So I don't like that, but I was really adamant about using these thickers for my title. So I'm leaving the bloom in the raw chipboard because I just like the look it gives. It just brings in another element, another element, so that raw color. And I also find, because there's a big tree in my photo, it really ties in. So there's lots of ways you can use the chipboard. You can paint it, paint pens, ink, embossing is a good one too, but you'll find a lot of the time I do like to keep them raw. They are really good to use raw as well. So you'll see on the top left hand corner I've used one of those bigger purple blooms and the other feather, just to sort of counter that big cluster I have down the bottom. Because I've got my title as well on the right hand side, I felt it just needed something up in that left hand corner, which is also why I used a scrap of that peachy orangey colour along the top of my layout up the top left hand corner there, just to sort of give it a bit more pattern and to sort of even out the balance, if that makes sense. I don't know, I just really like the look of it too. I sort of cheated and stuck it on top of the pattern paper where it was supposed to look more like it was behind in a rip, if that makes sense. But yeah, I just went with what I had. Now I'm adding some bling, because bling has been my thing lately. I've been adding little bits of bling here and there in all of my clusters. Wait till you see my next layout. But yeah, I love adding sprinkly bits to my layouts, and it just really helps brighten up these clusters, I think. But yeah, so that's it for my first layout. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I'll be back real soon with more using this fabulous collection. Bye for now.